Hello guys, hello. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. It is sunny and cold here. But it's a good day and I'm happy to be here with you guys. So, just make sure that we are up and running on my Facebook page and on YouTube. Hello guys. Let's see. Hello, Sue and Ann and Mary and Kathy. And Kathy, I'm so happy that you joined us in the group. Cindy and Donna and Alice and Cecilia and Deborah Wallaman. I need your mailing address. You, that's okay, Donna. I often hit that angry face. Not a problem. The thing is, if you go back and you hit it again, it'll go away. Anyway, Deborah Wallaman, you won one of the giveaways last week, and I need your mailing address so that I can get them off to you. I don't have it all right here, but in case you're wondering what you won some of my laser cut dragonflies. So, private message me your mailing address. So glad to be a part of your group. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kathy. Hello, Lori and Virginia. Let's see, we got Letitia and Melissa. Now we're starting to see some people over on YouTube. And Janet from your sons. I hope you're having a wonderful time, Janet, visiting your son. And my friend Susan Malone in Southern California, which I'm coming to in September. I'm coming to Hesperia to teach a 2-day seminar. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. I have tried working out seminars in California. They've not always gone so great. Zoom, yes, but in person. So I'm looking forward to being there in person. And I, of course, will share everything with y'all. Loved watching your visit to Atlanta. Oh, thank you, Tara. Let me just say I had the most amazing weekend last weekend and this past weekend, which do y'all consider Sunday part of the weekend? I mean, it is, but it's not. It's the first day of the week. But at the same time, it's still the weekend, right? Otherwise, I don't know. We have Friday, but if you work on Friday, and I work every day, then it's pretty much Saturday and Sunday. So anyway, so last weekend when I went to Atlanta, got to visit with 2 of our sons, 2 of the 3. I had an amazing time. We ate way too much. My husband and I have been doing really, really good. And now that he's retired, he makes sure that I eat during the day. Because a lot of times I wake up, get my coffee, and I'm, it might be 2 o'clock and I'm like, I'm kind of hungry. But anyway, so he's kind of kept us on a schedule, which is nice. But we just kind of hosed it last weekend, eating whatever we wanted. And then yesterday we went to the Cherry Blossom Festival in Macon. So if you didn't see my pictures on my page, we've lived here since 2005, and it was the first Cherry Blossom Festival we've ever been to. It was cold, but thankfully not rainy. My sister-in-law and her friend she used to teach with came down from Atlanta. We were a little disappointed because we thought this weekend they were going to have vendors of like arts and crafts and stuff. They didn't. It's next weekend, and I can't go next weekend. But anyway, but it was lovely. And then my husband and I did the cherry blossom. My sister-in-law, who I just said, she's messaging me. I lost my train of thought. Hello. Oh, we did the cherry blossom trail. So through lots of windy roads and neighborhoods, and it was really nice. They had these big ribbons with cherry blossoms attached to it, like fake. But the cherry blossoms are in full bloom. You're gonna hear I'm very nasally, and so I have a cough drop in my mouth just to kind of open things up because the flowers and everything blooming in Georgia have my allergies all cray-cray. So. Oh, that's wonderful, Donna. I'm so excited to hear that. I'll drive an hour to be with you. I would love that, Susan. You're just an hour away. I hope that to see you there. So Donna Pulse, yes. So I am teaching in Virginia, Newport News, Virginia in May. And that is not only in person, but it's also Zoom. So I know I had tons of emails and messages on a piece that I shared recently that I taught here locally. And that's one of the pieces that we are going to do in Newport News, Virginia. And you can join us by Zoom, okay? So for more information, just go to my website, which is, I have to push my glasses up. Where's my website on here? Is that my website? Nope, that's the Deco Art thing. Anyway, it is right there. Hello. Sandy McTeer Designs. Isn't that crazy? Right there, sandymcteerdesigns.com. Anyway, and look under seminars, conventions, and contact information and all that is there so that you can reach out to those people. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Faye. How's the weather up there in Canada? And Veronica. And Elizabeth. Hello, guys. So good to see you on. Oh, hello, Monica from Lima, Peru. So good that you're here. So on Facebook, the first person that messaged, I think it's the second live in a row. You are quick on the money, Sue. Sue Cavallini, and I butchered your last name because I was writing it quickly. And then on YouTube, Beverly Silsky, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, private message me and let me know what e-packet you want and I will get that off to you, okay? Whatever e-packet's on my website right now. Let's just say that. Sunny but cool. Hi, Sandra. Beautiful here, but allergies in full bloom, right? Mine are full blown, I should say, yes. So between the trees and the flowers and my husband was doing yard work and I had my window open so I could vent my Glowforge out it because I'm waiting for my filter to get here, my replacement filter, because I've already filled it up, which is good. I'm having a blast on it, but at the same time, it does take me away from things that I really need to be doing. So I have to schedule when I'm going to do it or else I'll just have a lot of laser cut things and no new designs, which would not be good. So, hello, Mimi. I love that name, Mimi. Anyway, hello, Judy. So I will be, like I said, next month, I'm going to be in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Again, all that information is on my website. And then I'll be in Newport News, Virginia. Then I'll be in Colorado. At the end of this month, though, I'm going to be in the Deco Art booth at NAMTA Creativation. So if you're not familiar with NAMTA, was a show that was more fine art companies and stuff, and Creativation, CHA, all the names it's been over the decades, is, you know, your craft, your fine art, mom and pop shops, companies that are sharing all their new things. And so I've been playing around with some new products. I can't share. I'll share a pic. I'll just hold it up. But anyway, so I've been playing around with some new products and I will be in the Deco Art booth. So if you are going to be at NAMTA Creativation in Columbus, Ohio at the end of the month, come by the Deco Art booth and see me, okay? And if you're a helping artist with Deco Art or one of their makers, make sure to let them know that you're going to be there. You can go to their Facebook page and let them know because they do have a little something planned for all the makers and helping artists that are going to be there. So we're going to be there early, welcoming you guys. Might have a couple little freebie things we're giving you, and just to say hi and show you all the new things and what's in the booth. So. Hello, Sandy Fowler. So glad you could join today. Me all in my chair. I can't get comfortable. Indiana in the house. Hello, Deb Bloomfield. Good to see you. Right, Tara? Yes. I love spring here in Georgia, too. I'm more of a summer girl. Like, I really like hot weather, which is crazy. But yeah, when things start blooming, whew, they just kind of take over and take control. So anyway, what else is coming up? Have Pinners Conference on Friday, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it to that. That's in Atlanta. And I would just go walk the show and see what's up, what's going on. and then have a members only Zoom class with my membership group. We do quarterly free Zoom classes, and we're painting those grapes over there. That's a piece right there with the stripes that might be in well, it's going to be in pixelated palette soon. I forgot to take it down. So maybe I'll just no, it's going to be in pixelated palette in June, I think. So I'm so happy you found me too, Carol. Yes, so don't forget to like, comment, and share. I'm just going to put that up. When you like, comment, and share, guys, it helps me greatly. First off, it's free to do that, and I greatly appreciate it. Make sure that you're sharing it. If you share it to a group or a page or whatever, that you're allowed to share it there. I don't want you to get your hands smacked, but it does help me with my reach and welcoming new people. So I appreciate you guys doing that. The stars on Facebook, in the comment section, there's stars that you can purchase, and then also on YouTube, the little $sign in the comment section. If you guys donate that way, that money will go to World Central Kitchen, okay? Feeding people all around the country that desperately need it. So anyway, oh, thank you, Shirley. I love them too. I taught those, excuse me, in Alabama years ago, and I never did anything with it. And then because it's up there and I paint live with my membership group 3 to 4 times a month, I kept getting like comments about it, and I thought, you know what, that'd be a really good Zoom class. So we're painting that this coming Saturday. So, hi, Robin. All righty. Hello, Brenda Owen. So good to see you on. This cough drop's gonna drive me crazy. It has like liquid stuff inside. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't spit that out. And then of course my hubby got me a Diet Coke. I'm down to 1 a day, but that's a big one. So, all right, it is 4:12. We're gonna go to about 4:15 and just kind of chit chat. Sunny and 71 yesterday, rainy 61 today through Wednesday in California. Yes, we have like 30-degree weather when we wake up tomorrow. So the other day it was 72, and then the next day it was 53. Right now it's 50 degrees, but again, if you looked outside, you would think it was 90. I mean, it's just not a cloud in the sky, beautiful. So, all righty, not seeing any more comments on YouTube. So if you are on YouTube, let me know. Oh, thank you, Cindy. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you, Sandra. So, yeah, so if you're new, welcome. I'm Sandy McDeer, and you are watching Sundays in the Studio with me. I wish it was every Sunday, but it's at least 2 Sundays a month. And if we can squeeze in a third, then that's a bonus. However, we will have a third next Sunday because I'm going to be back next Sunday. As well on the 26th, because the following week I will be in Columbus, Ohio. Now, I do plan to share with you guys while I'm there. Hi, Kathy Swiney. I had to cover all my azaleas last night, right, Karen? It's crazy, crazy. So we haven't taken any of our plants out yet. We bring them all into the garage, leave them by 2 big windows, and let them get sun. In fact, my huge poinsettia from Christmas is still blooming like crazy. But I like to get them out early, and my husband's like, no, it could freeze up till April. So we'll wait for a while. Hello, Marie from California. So, all right, someone over on YouTube just dropped me a comment. I'm not seeing any comments come up, so I want to make sure you guys are there. I hope you had a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. I wore green today. I did not wear it on the day. So your wisteria flowers froze last night. That was something else we saw a ton of yesterday, but nowhere near as pretty as my wisteria. Just in the trees, the vines, the bushes, everywhere. Wisteria is everywhere, all the way up to Atlanta. And then again, when we were doing the cherry blossom trail yesterday, and even the cherry blossoms to me seem more white than like having that tinge of pink. which is a little strange. I've always thought them to have more pink, but they were really, really white. The dogwood are in full bloom. But the wisteria that we saw is just kind of dingy looking. Mine is vibrant, beautiful, and purple. If you miss those pictures, you've got to look on my page because they're amazing. So, Marian, if you are on my Facebook page, which you are, if you go to the 3 little dots and not just like my page, but follow, you should get a notification. Now, I will say I've been a little slack. And I hope to get better at doing it to remind you guys through an email. So if you've not gone to my website, which again is sandymctierdesigns.com, make sure to go there and sign up for my newsletter, because what I want to try to do a little better is to send you guys a reminder that I'm going to be live, okay? But at the same time, not everybody checks their email every day. So everything is still dead here in Colorado. Oh goodness. Kathy, well, it will be beautiful when I come in June. I will be there teaching the 9th and 10th in, you'll have to remind me, Janet, in the comments, where in Colorado. So they're in Littleton, but Denver area, Franklin, I think, Franktown. Anyway, it's on my website and how to sign up. So anyway, 33 in upstate New York, snow flurries. Yeah, we are still here. Thanks, Janet. We'll do what you, yes, and Marian, sometimes Facebook's so weird that you'll, even on my YouTube channel, if you go to my YouTube channel and hit subscribe and then hit that bell so that you get a notification, I always try to set it that it goes live and it's kind of in pause or waiting around 3:30 when I go live at 4. So that should give you a notification as well. So anyway, okay, now they're starting to pop up on YouTube. Awesome. Love all your paintings behind you. Thank you, Kathy. There's quite a few, right? And I've been playing. So when I lived in Japan, I learned how to make these from my Japanese friend. And if you've ever been to a dinner with me, a lot of times I will sit there and make one out of the napkin. So anyway, but I've been playing around with my marbled papers and created this little origami swan. Isn't that cute? So anyway, oops, goodness gracious, they fly away. All right, let's take care of, Louisiana and Mississippi had sleet yesterday. I know, right, Lucy? It's just crazy. Crazy. And yeah, no snow for me. So, all right, let's take care of some giveaways, then we're going to get started. But in case you missed it, was it last weekend or the weekend before when I did the live showing you how to do the background? It was on the 5th. Hello, because the 12th I was in Atlanta. Hello. So, but I showed you how to do the background for this piece. Okay, so if you missed it, you'll want to go back and watch that from the 5th of March because where we're starting today is with the design. All right, and hopefully I have everything here. I got my colors and everything ready yesterday, and I don't know about y'all, but when I'm that far ahead and pre-plan, I tend to sometimes forget something and I don't check it again. Same thing with packing. I'm usually a pack at the last minute, or I'll pack it a week before and then I'm like, I don't even remember what I packed. I hope everything's there. So anyway, all right, let's take care of giveaways for last live, which was on the 5th. And then I have some giveaways for today, okay? So let's just pan right down here. All righty. So we had some giveaways, 3 actually last week. The Josanya Clear Glaze Medium and the Fast Drying Glaze Medium. And I thought I had something else with that. I'll have to look at my live. But the name that came up on the wheel for it, Jessica Killerin, I have your information. I'm going to put that to the side and I will get it shipped out to you tomorrow. Alrighty. And then I had 3 mini sets of, so this is my 3-piece mini stencil set. It has a dragonfly, a butterfly, and a bee. And I left all the bits and bobs with it so that you can use them as masks or whatever. And then these 2 have been flying out of my house into y'all's homes. 8-piece honeycomb chipboard, so there are 2 honeycomb pieces, 1 large, 1 small, and then 6 bees, 3 big, 3 small. And then the chipboard butterflies, which I cannot keep up making these because you guys are buying them like crazy, which I love. It's what I used on my piece today. And so that comes with 6 large and 6 small butterflies. And so the winner of that is Sandy Fowler. Sandy Fowler, message me your mailing address and I will get these shipped off to you. Don't put it here in the comments, but if you will go to my website and hit the contact button, or even here on Messenger. I try and check that many times a day. All right, let's move that out of the way. Okay, and then the creme de la creme, this brush roll up that my dear sweet friend Laura Haberstraw, let's see where I put the name. Okay, I'm gonna take it out. Excuse me. My friend Laura Haberstraw made it, and I love this fabric. I know I mentioned to you guys that the new Tim Holtz, I don't have it here, but the palette paper that he just came out with, the collage paper, is this not beautiful fabric? And then you put your brushes in and then roll it up. It's got this beautiful little tie. You could even paint this side because, you know, it has, or stencil it or whatever. But the winner of that, and I do have her information, I know. So Sylvia Witkoff, I will get this shipped off to you. All right. So let's move that out of the way because I do not want to get paint on that. Alrighty. Oops, let's move that. Oh, thank you, Carol. I love the butterflies and the bees and the dragonflies. I will have 3 different sizes. So these are the big ones. And then I have a medium and a small that I'm going to do individually, but also as a set. Just got to get them loaded. Okay, so let's do giveaways for today. So we have an M squared stencil set. If you're not familiar, I have a stencil line with Tracy Moreau, M square, Moreau McTier. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 M square stencils, $35 retail. All right, let's move that out of the way. And then I have 2 pieces that I cut on my laser machine. This one still has the tape. The board I use has this tape on it so that you don't get all the charred marks. And I haven't taken that off yet, so it will end up looking more like that. But anyway, so this cute little snowman and his little bits and bobs. And then this fun little piece that has, it's a hot cocoa bar that you can paint up however you want. And it comes with a picture showing you how to lay it all out. So anyway, so another winner for those. Okay. And then I have 2 more. I'll do these next. So these are some specialty brushes from Dynasty. As you guys know, I'm a Dynasty specialist. I love my Dynasty brushes. Let's zoom in. I cannot wait to see them at the end of the month at the NAMTA show. And I hopefully will do some lives and stuff from both DecoArt's booth and Dynasty. Okay, so these are just specialty brushes. A 3/4 angle, a dagger brush, which you guys makes the most beautiful pinstripes and ribbon. This whale's tail, which is amazing, also for doing ribbon, but scroll work, leaves, so many things you can do with this one. The angled the angled wave, that makes amazing striations and stuff on petals. And then I threw this one in there, and what I love about the IPC, which stands for ink, pastel, and chalk, the large oval foam, first off, it's soft enough it could be used as a makeup brush. But what it's great for is applying your gesso to your chipboard pieces, okay? So it's just nice and soft, and yeah, so a great brush for that. All right, so the Dynasty Specialty brushes for another winner. Again, all you have to do, like, comment, and share. And then I wasn't going to, but I'm going to because I can. And because I've been busy cutting some things out, like I said, on my laser machine. I've been a little obsessed. Now, the only people that have this right now are some people in my membership group. So 2 of my admins, and then also, did I send it to my admins? I'll have to look and see. I can't remember. Chris and Molly Ann, let me know. But I do monthly giveaways in my membership group, and I cut out this stencil for them. I love it. It's intricate, it's beautiful, and I mean, you could lay that spritz around it or stencil around it. I mean, just gorgeous. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna do it on chipboard. So I have the same size piece on chipboard. Is that not gorgeous? I know it's your birthday, Lucy. I know, I saw that. And then a smaller one, okay? So I sent some of these out in some orders because y'all yesterday blew up my website, meaning in a good way. So I had a couple of my members that had ordered, and you might just see that one in your order when you get it, okay? Anyway, so someone's going to get all 3 of these. All right, like, comment, and share. Now, Franktown, thank you, Janet. Yes, Franktown, Colorado. That's where I'll be teaching in June. All righty, let's see. Fast drying all the way, right? I love fast drying glaze medium. Okay. I love those butterflies. I saw members that had received. Yes, they are. They're so pretty. Love, love, love. Okay, and I get this question all the time, so I just wanted to share and show you guys real quick. Let me zoom out just a little bit. So when you order an e-packet from me, or if you order an e-packet from me, it comes, I send it through WeTransfer. It is a free transfer download service. I don't have free automatic download right now until my stupid website gets updated. I won't. So I email it to you personally, but through that service, of course. But you can also get a printed packet if you want, and I typically don't charge more than what you've already paid on the e-packet. But I will print it, you just have to pay shipping. Okay, so this is what my e-packets usually consist of. A cover page, your supply list, a full cover picture of the piece that we're doing. And then, of course, your background. I did the butterflies and showed pictures on that. So actually, you could probably pause it and see all the directions. I try and throw in a bunch of pictures for you that are close up and an explanation, and then also a line drawing. And I did a line drawing for the butterflies. Again, we're not doing those today. And then just my disclaimer and copyright information and all that, okay? So when you order an e-packet from me, that's what you get, all right? And thank you so very much for all y'all. That was real southern, wasn't it? All y'all who purchased this one. So I'm just gonna move that out of the way, and let's get on to our piece. I didn't realize this was on. Bad me. No worries at all, Christina. Your e-packets are works of art in themselves. Oh, thank you, Kathy. You know, when I do my e-packets, I really try to write for the person that has never painted, but also the person that is, you know, a seasoned painter can pick it up and understand. So I really try to, you know, how to hold the brush, a little pressure, things like that. I'm very descriptive. I'm very wordy, if you've not already seen that. Okay, I need a palette. Where is my palette paper? Or I'm gonna have to do it on here. Pull Hold on one second. I'm gonna have to grab it. Hello. I moved it, but do I have the cover on this one? No, I don't. Okay, I like the Jack Richardson gray palette paper. I know I've shared that with you guys before. I get it on Amazon, but you can get it at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, just about it, Dick Blick. Okay, so I transferred the pattern onto vellum, onto my piece, and y'all, this is such an easy piece to paint because I did it very watercolor-ish. I was going for not full coverage. I wanted to be able to see, I'm gonna move this out of the way because it's blocking my view of my monitor, just to make sure I'm on screen. But I wanted this to be pretty transparent, so you can see some of the words from the stamp in the background, right? That doesn't bother me. I love it. The leaves are pretty transparent. So we're just gonna layer and have fun, and let's start. So I'm gonna get like a number 8 or a number 10 flat. Hello, ladies. Okay, Sue Black, when's your birthday? So I know Lucy's is next Saturday. All right, we're gonna get out some paint. Now, guys, I did a combination of colors, meaning Americana or the media line, okay? And in the e-packet, I give you substitutions. I probably won't go through that unless you ask and you need to know a substitution for it. I'll try to remember to, like Plantation Pine, I would use sap green in the media line. I am going to do a video on the media line telling you all the amazing things about it and why you need it. But let's start with some antique green. And again, I have my number 10 black gold by Dynasty, and I'm just gonna get your Suzanne Braun. Yours was on the 9th. Well, happy belated. Oh, Sue Black, yours is on the 25th. Fun, fun. Yes, we have a lot of birthdays. And Doris, your birthday's on Wednesday. Well, I hope you have a wonderful birthday. So yes, my oldest son was born in March. My niece, on the McTier side, we have one niece on the McTier side and one niece on the Warner side. My niece Gabrielle and her husband in Colorado just had a baby boy in March. And then my 2 nephews, my niece, and my sister-in-law all have March birthdays. Okay, guys, this is antique green. Now, if you go outside the line, just push it back in. Put it back in line. All right, so I'm going to do the stems and the leaves in antique green. Now, let me show you a trick too. So if your transfer paper is really, really dark, you have a couple of options. You can use the black Factus eraser I love to use, but I did not grab one, but I have the Tombow knockout erasers that are retractable. And if you get this a little wet, you can take that and look how it erases. I mean, it will pretty much take that down. So if you don't want a lot of the pencil line showing or the transfer line, then you can always do a little bit of erasing. You can still see the lines, so you know where your pattern is. A kneaded eraser works great too, but I typically will use the Factus black or the knockout erasers, okay? So it just gets rid of a little of that transfer line. All right, so back to that, and I just went over that with the eraser. Hello. So like an 8 or a 10. I'm hoping to have the second in my series with my Hoppy Easter guy, little bunny that I did a few weeks ago. I'm hoping to have a companion piece done for Sunday's live, but to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure because my list is long for samples and pieces, designs I have to do for NAMTA, for the Deco Art booth. But I will bring you guys along as much as I can at that show. It's usually a little crazy. So, but I'm excited that it is back in, or that it is in Columbus, Ohio, and that I will be back in Columbus, Ohio, because the last time I was there was for the last Hoot convention. I don't even remember what year, 2018 maybe. And I do love that convention center. Okay, so, and Max and Irma's across the street, which is always good. And Martini's, which is across the street, great dinner place. Alrighty, so that is the antique green. Aw, thank you, Lynn. I love taking you guys with me. So, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Make sure on this, on the YouTube, that you hit that bell notification. Hello, Valerie from Oklahoma. I really need to do this other thing to send notifications. I just haven't bit the bullet yet. Okay, so we're gonna dry these with our heat tool. Again, they have very little done to them. We'll put out a little bit of plantation pine, or you can use some sap green. And y'all know, I've told you, I made it my mission this year that these things are going to come off. Hi, Linda Safranco. Good to see you on. Oh, thank you, Debbie. They need to be done again. In fact, like 10 minutes before I went live, I'm like, oh my gosh, my hands look like they're 90. It can be 35 degrees outside, and I can wear my Skechers sandals. I'm gonna show you guys because they're my favorite. Okay, my Skechers. I have them on my Facebook page. I love them so much, and whenever I see them available, I buy 2 or 3 pair. But anyway, I can wear those in the dead of winter, but my hands are always cold. Even in the summer, my hands are cold. So right before I went live, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need some lotion on them, and they're freezing, and I had like 3 minutes to spare before we went live. Okay. So plantation pine, let's get an angle brush. Let me see if I have my, again, I've been painting at 3 different stations. I'll have to use that one. I was hoping I had my faux squirrel. I do not, and I have a very, very bad, that's bad, I can't show you that. So my 3/8 angle, and then I'm going to use my, you can use water or the Jo Sonja fast drying glaze medium. I have it in a jar, so I keep it in a glass jar. And then I'm just going to load a little bit of that on the toe and work it in both sides. So always a good idea to wet your brushes first, dry them off before you add product to it, unless you're dry brushing, all right? Thank you, Donna. Yes, I do carry those. I love them. They're amazing. They're quiet. Hello, Laura. So good to see you on. All right, guys, so if you're not familiar with an angle brush, it has a toe and a heel. I'm going to load that up, and I'm just going to come right down here where I worked that medium into my brush, and I'm going to just float that along. See how it just helps that paint and that brush just move and glide a little bit more if you need it. Just keeps that moisture in there. And I'm just going to kind of walk that out just a little bit so I don't have just a thin little float of color. All right. Do I need to zoom in a little? I think I do. Just looking at my screen here. I also want you to see my palette though. Okay. And then we'll go underneath the stem. And then on the stem here, I'm going to go down that right side. And I'm a very loose floater, meaning I don't sit there and one swipe of the brush. I tend to, you know, kind of putter it along. So just kind of tap it, loose little float. Here, so I can keep my hand out of the way. And we're going to strengthen some of those as well. So I am going to go down both sides. And then a little down that side of the leaf. Okay. And then this one has a little bit of a flip, so I'm going to float that color on the left side of the leaf and just kind of walk that out a little bit just to soften it. And you can always soften it as well with a mop brush. So the IPC soft flat top, oftentimes I'll just take that and tap, 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 tap. And then we'll go underneath that flip. Somehow I got glitter in there. Don't know where that came from. And then we're gonna bring that right along that flip. And see how that's dragging? It's because I don't have enough moisture in my brush. So I'm going to come back with a little moisture and just really tap that and soften that float out just a little. A little bit there, and I'll come back and add some lines just to give it a little bit more texture. Debbie, I do not carry the water lily brushes, but I probably will soon. I love them for many things. I mean, they're watercolor brushes, but they are amazing to paint on glass. So it's on my list of ones that are a possibility to start carrying. Okay, so again, loading that brush up, you can see on my palette. Now see how it's starting to migrate that color? I don't care on this piece, but if you wanted to, you could always come in and pinch off that corner and get all that color off, and then add a little bit more moisture to your brush, and then you have to move from there. Sometimes I just turn my brush, but oftentimes I'll just start a new runway. Okay, so, but again, on this piece, I'm not too fussed about it because I do have some lines going in with that plantation pine. All right. Yes, happy birthday to all the March birthdays. Alrighty, and then underneath that flower, down that side of that leaf, it's a dragon, Sandy. Not a dragon like fire dragon, but my brush is dragging, which means it needs moisture. So a little water or a little medium. Okay. All right. Thank you, Lori. Hi, Diane. Oh, that's quite all right. Quite all right, Linda. No apology necessary. You can always share it to our group. I greatly appreciate that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reload the brush. Just on the toe with that plantation pine. And I'm just going to slide on the chisel edge. Now, when you slide on the chisel edge, you don't want to lean back and you don't want to lean forward. You want to ice skate on the tippy tips of those bristles. See how everything moves at the same rate? Your hand, your brush, your wrist, your elbow, your shoulder. It's all pulling that brush at the same rate. And so think of it like you're ice skating. And we're just going to ice skate on the tippy tips of those bristles. And we want to flow with the shape of that leaf. All right, so kind of flow with the shape of that leaf. Do it here. And I'm leaving some space in between, again, just to kind of give it some variegated lines, like it's got some texture to that leaf there. And then, and again, but it's important to go with the shape of, instead of just pulling straight down. That wouldn't make sense. So it didn't matter, as you saw there, how janky that antique green was painted on, base coat, because it's pretty much covered with that. So I'm just kind of coming underneath that stem again where it meets the flower. When you do a second float over the dried float that's already there, you're going to get a little bit more intense color. You can also do it with Payne's Gray if you want it to be more intense. Okay, so yeah, this one is the black gold. Tried to share, don't know where I shared to. Well, Valerie, we'll see if it's somewhere you're not supposed to, but thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. Okay, so the black gold. And then this one is an IPC, ink pastel chalk. But as you see, I use it all the time in my acrylic painting. And so if it works for me, I don't care what medium it's meant to be used for or made for, I'm going to use it. So, all right, let's get a little Payne's Gray out, because we are going to take care of some of these darker little shading places. And then also, I have some green gold and some antique green. We'll put a little bit of that with white to get our highlights. So same brush, 3/8 angle, a little bit of plantation pine, touch of Payne's Gray, and work that in. We want it a dark green, kind of like black green that DecoArt has, just to get that intense shading, especially where things meet, like that leaf, the stem and the flower. And this color I'm only taking down one side. So remember, I took the plantation pine down both sides of the leaves, both sides of the stems. But for this one, I'm only going to do it on that darkest side. So on this one, the left side of that stem, we'll do it underneath that flower there, and then the flip, again, just to give it some nice dark shading. And then down the right side of that stem, under the flower, right side of that stem. And I always mix it with my, no, I don't like that word, always. I like to mix it with my base color, which is that plantation pine that I floated on before, because I think it softens the look instead of just going in with straight Payne's Gray. All right, and then down this side. This leaf, again, if it goes outside the line, just push it back in. And we'll come down this side of the leaf. So it's kind of that inner right side, and then this side, just a little on that side. Did you see how that dragged? It's because I have no moisture in my brush. So, and I will go back, guys. I know I've mentioned this before, unless you're a newbie and you don't know, but I am a one-man band. So for me to, bring this to you guys, show and share how I do it, it's sometimes difficult for me to look up and see all the questions, but I will go back and answer, okay? Put me on the big screen. Oh, my. Oh, hello, Linda's mom, Mary, and I hope you had a wonderful birthday. Okay, let's get a little bit of white. So I have some snow titanium white. We're going to take care of these leaves first. And remember on the lesson I did a couple weeks ago, and you can see I transferred my pattern there wrong. I did the background and the butterflies. So my butterflies are done, but I'll show you how to add those when we get done. Okay, so antique green has a beautiful yellow cast to it. So I'm going to add just a little bit of white to the toe of that brush with some antique green. So antique green, white, and let's work it in. And we're going to take care of some of these highlights. So just along the top of that leaf, and then look what I did. Just swipe your finger. So I'm going to go on the top right there on that flip, just to kind of highlight that a little bit. And again, come in with the the mop brush if you want to soften that. And then on this side, so opposite of where I put that darker color is going to be on this part of the leaf. But what I do next, guys, really is a game changer. It really is what brings this leaf, to me, to life. Okay, antique green on the toe, a little bit of white, work it in. The left flower, would you shade darker also where the leaf and stem meet? Absolutely, when I'm completely done. So right there is where you're talking, right? Are you putting it in the Payne's Gray first or the Plantation Pine? So I put Plantation Pine down first, then Plantation Pine and Payne's Gray together. Now is just antique green and a touch of white. And then do yourself a favor and just kind of put it on. And then just swipe your finger. It really helps bring that color right along. And then our stem here. All right. So let's make sure this is 100% dry. Hello, Crisabola. Thank you, Yvonne. Okay, fingerless gloves. Let me tell you, my husband bought me some. My sweet friend Sue Atkins gave me some. I cannot wear them. I've tried, and even like doing paint pouring and things like that with rubber gloves, I just cannot see it. I don't mind touching the paint, but yes, my hands do get cold. So I'm gonna do that right now, what Cindy had mentioned, just to take care of that. A little bit darker shading. And then let's dry it, and then I'm going to make that stand out even more. No, not at all, Cindy, not at all. So, and then a little bit of antique green, go back to a little bit of white on there. And so where I put in that shading, it kind of went over a little bit. I'm just going to come in and make that leaf. Remember, it's all about lights and darks with painting that give it shape and depth and movement. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to come over the entire leaf with some green gold. If you don't have green gold, you can use citron green, and I think I'll do one leaf so you can see the difference. Hello, my sweet brother-in-law from Abu Dhabi. I hope you have a wonderful trip. Okay, so let's get out a little bit of citron green. That's my brother-in-law, love, that I went and spent an amazing week in Turkey with. Alrighty. And then green gold. So they're a little different, but what I love about the green gold is the transparency of it, and it does have that very yellow cast to it. So let's get that number 10 back out, and I'm going to keep a little bit of water in it. And let's do one with citron first. So I'm just going to pull. Do you see I have a little? I didn't go into the thing. I always pull from the side. There's that word again, always. I like to pull from the side and load my brush with that paint to be able to wash it over the entire thing, okay? So it's just gonna bring a little bit of brightness to it, but not the kick that I like. So I'm gonna rinse it, and I'm gonna show you the difference on this one. It'll come in, so I do have a little bit of water in my brush, a little bit of that green gold. Now, this is already a fluid, meaning it doesn't have the solids in it that Americana does, or regular acrylics. It's highly pigmented, very transparent, and very fluid, so you don't need as much water. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so can you see how much more yellow that one is? Again, this is pretty, but I just love the kick that that one gives that. And I can go over it. Y'all know how much I love to layer. So I'm just going to layer that right over. And it's so transparent that I'm going to keep my darks and not lose those. Okay. So I took it down, but I need to put it back up on my website, my top 12 or 10 fluid acrylic colors. It's just an amazing paint. Amazing. Right over that, flip on the leaf, on that part of the leaf, and then we're going to come down the stem. And where we put that highlight on, it's going to change the highlight color more than anything. And that's picking up that yellow in that paint, which I love, 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 love. All right, so let's dry that. Yes, it is. Thank you, Sue Potts. I appreciate that. So the green gold. Okay, again, I have my top like 10, 12 colors that I use. I need to put those back up on my website. I also had Tracy Moreau's top 10 that she used. They got rid of some of them, and so I need to go back and add those. All right, so we've got our leaves on there. Let's move that out of the way. I'm just going to flip my palette, and let's get some colors out for the tulips. Now, guys, these really are painted so easily. Again, with layering, using the chisel edge of the brush to get those striations and lines. Am I going to have exactly a line where I have it on here? Probably not, and that's okay. And I'm a firm believer that I would rather have, 100 that look like you painted with me versus 100 that are exactly cookie cutter, the same. So just play and have fun with it. Okay, that's not what I'm using. Let me start. Good, you will put them back up. I will. I just need to get them on there. Hello, Mary Amos. Okay, so I'm going to use the Hansa Yellow Light. If you don't have that, you can use the bright yellow. And again, do yourself a favor. Makes your paint last a lot longer. That's about all you need. See how, a little goes a long way. So I'm going to do a little Hansa Yellow Light, a little bit of Diary Light Yellow, and if you don't have this color, you can use Saffron Yellow. And the Americana line. Again, just a little bit. And then, this isn't paper, Yvonne. This is the French Marketplace. It's a Tim Holtz stamp, French Marketplace stamp that I used and shared with you guys 2 weeks ago, how to create the background. Okay. And lots of different things. So, the splattering, the gesso, the different layers. So we're going to paint all of the tulips with that yellow first. And I'm just, again, damp brush. And just can go right over lines and everything. And then and I use the DecoArt transfer paper, both the white and the graphite. I have no problem with it bleeding when I paint over it. That's another question I get all the time. But again, just kind of slap it on there. It is different than the yellow in the background, so if it goes outside the line, just kind of push it back in with your finger. But loose, easy peasy. Kind of get that on there, and we'll dry it. Here, you so welcome, Yvonne. All right. So again, if you will like, comment, and share, that'll get you entered into all the giveaway drawings. Okay, we're just gonna make sure that's nice and dry. Now you could use, if you have the media line, you could use, let's see, what do I have here? My favorite color, which they discontinued, one of my favorite colors, vermilion. You could use Pyrrole Orange if you wanted to. I went ahead, because I love this color in Americana, I just used bright orange. All right. Now, look how much I still have left. I mean, seriously, you use so little. So we're going to get a little bit of that bright orange out. And then I also want to get out some quinacridone magenta. Now, there really is not a great substitute for this color, okay? It is in my top 12. I absolutely love this color. But you could use berry cobbler with a little bit of alizarin crimson. You could use some alizarin crimson with a little bit of poetic plum. Anyway, it's just a beautiful color for the shading part. Let's get that off there. It's gross. And a little bit of that. I'm also going to get out, let's see, a little bit of raw umber. Okay, just a touch. And then I already have my Payne's Gray out as well. So I want to show you two different ways that you can shade with the raw umber and then with the Payne's Gray. So funny thing is I went to do my pattern, and because it's on vellum, I had it flipped. And so I started to trace the pattern, and that guy was over there. And I'm like, that's wrong. So I had to erase it and take care of that, and I'll get that off later. So now that I've just made a big, huge mark there. To get rid of that. So the bright orange and the saffron, we're going to go back to that 3/8 angle brush. And if y'all are over on YouTube, just drop me a comment and let me know you're there, because all those comments just kind of stopped. Oh, yes, Susan, I know that that's what they call them, but I can't bring myself to say that. I don't know why. But yes, they are, Okay, so I'm going to take that 3/8 angle. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of Diary Lied Yellow, and I'm just going to, you can see how I'm doing it. I'm not exactly in one place. I'm just kind of putting that color here and there. And to be honest, I don't even know if I have this in my directions. But I seem to remember that I did this with that Diary Lied Yellow. Again, just to add a little variation of yellow color, okay? So not everywhere, just here and there, and don't be afraid to use those fingers. Okay, it's not about being messy, but it's about utilizing what you have, and oftentimes just taking your finger and swiping it is going to give you a beautiful look instead of having to stop and pick up a mop, or you know, just smudging it sometimes is that thing it needs. So don't discount that. Or think that you've got to be super messy and leave with, you know, a ton of paint on your hands. I personally love it because I feel like I was productive and creative, and yeah. Okay, so again, just a little bit here and there. Let's dry that. Oh, Christina, I totally understand. I hope you are able to get the fiber optics soon. It has completely changed my business. Hello, Carrie. Hi, Patty McMillan. Yes, so this is my, let me see if I have one with the cover sheet. Let me grab it. It's right here. It's the Jack Richardson. Palette paper right here, and again, you can get that on Amazon, at Michael's, at Hobby Lobby, dickblick.com. It's got a great color chart and value chart inside. Great thing to keep, at least one of them. Is messy, and I was painting over at my other station, so that's where all that came from. Alrighty, back to our, hello Melissa, I enjoy your something of singing. You're enthralled in watching test. Thank you so much, Chris, for just testing it. You know, sometimes if it stops something and, oh my gosh, is it still going? Do you guys still hear me? Right, Molly Ann? That Diary-Lied yellow just adds some warmth, I think, of that yellow in there, okay? So what we're going to do now is on the toe of that angle brush, I'm going to pick some of that up. And again, I'm just going to float that on, and then I'm going to come up on the chisel edge, float it at the base, come up on the chisel edge, bring some of that orange in. This has lots of layers. Y'all know I love to layer. Is that even showing up on camera? It's so faint. Let me see if I need to darken that at all. I think it's okay. Okay, so I'm going to float that along the base of that tulip. And that came up. And then I'm just going to slide on the chisel edge to get some of those kind of little striation lines. Some might show, some will be taken away. I did that really good on that one and not so great on this one because you can't even see them. On my camera, I can't. And when you pull these, you want to make sure that you're going with the flow and movement of that petal. All right. If you just do straight lines, straight up, it's not going to make a lot of sense. Oh, I'm missing a little shading right there, line, or pattern line, I should say. So I am going to float some of that orange into the back here just a little. Again, just to introduce that color, bring it in. But those lines is really what I'm going for, and that's just sliding on the chisel edge. Okay. I don't think I put, I know I didn't. I don't think I put green gold on those stems. They're looking still a little on the dark side, so I will put some. All right, so a little bit of orange again at the base of that tulip. Loosely floated on. You see what I'm doing? I almost am doing like a little C or a little U and floating that on and letting it move. It's moving too because I have some moisture in that brush. If it's bone dry, you're not going to get anything to come off it. Okay. And then again, I'm going to slide on the chisel edge, long, short, nothing exactly the same. You can slide from the top, but I tend to slide from here because when I lift, I'm kind of flicking it. So I don't just stop. It's not like here and stop, there and stop, or you end up with a line. So if you are on the chisel edge, let's see if I can do it with my hand out of the way, and you go to stop, flick that toe because that will just feather, giving you a nice ending point instead of just a dead stop. All right, so we're gonna take a little bit of this in the back. Again, just to add a little bit of that color. And then let's go ahead and dry that. I did it on the stems. Okay, thank you, Ann. Yeah, I couldn't remember if I did, so I was gonna do it again, and if it adds a little brightness to it, that's okay. I just wanted to. Oh, it's such a pretty color. Again, and it's just a wash. It's just a wash of that green gold. And again, it's transparent. And I love that you can mix them with the Americanas any acrylics for that matter, whatever you use. Of course, Americana are my go-to, but the media line is my favorite. Okay, so I just want to make sure everything is dry. And then we're going to get into that quinacridone magenta. And I'll show you using the quinacridone magenta and a little bit of Payne's Gray, and the quinacridone magenta and some raw umber. It's going to give you a different look. So the quinacridone magenta is what I'm going to start with. Work that in on the toe of the brush. You can see there on the palette. Okay. And I'm going to kind of float that down. It's a little on the bright side, right? So again, I don't want any kind of straight lines, so I'm going to loosely float that on. Slide on the chisel edge. And then I'm going to take that mop and go over it. Now we have highlights that are coming from the top down, so I'm not too fussed or worried about going all the way to the top. So get that little dewy off right there. Okay. So I'm going to take some of that quinacridone magenta, and on this one, I'm going to show you, I'm going to take a little bit of raw umber. So quinacridone magenta, raw umber. And it does give you a really pretty dark color to float with. And we're going to go right between the petals there, right between the petals there, above those petals, and then I have a little sliver of it right here. And that's the quinacridone magenta and raw umber. And then I have, I'm gonna get right in there. And then I have a little sliver on this side. All right, so let's see. Okay, now let's do this one. I'm gonna rinse out my brush. Again, I'm gonna work in layers, get those darks on, then we'll come back and put those lights on. And every time you paint it, guys, you know, with my kind of loose method of painting it, you're gonna end up with something slightly different, and that's okay. As long as you've got your lights and your darks and you've got the shape of that flower, you're good to go. Okay, so 3/8 angle, little moisture in my brush, some quinacridone magenta, work that in. I'll go ahead and just start back here since I didn't before. Kind of start there, and then I am going to take that mop brush and just kind of soften it. And then right along the base of that flower, so I'm just going to start up there with that toe, but at an angle. Start here and just kind of bring it down. Loose, loose, loose float. Kind of bring that color up. And then I am going to slide on the chisel edge of the brush and just kind of let it skip and stutter. And we're going to do that again when we put that color from the top down. It's really going to make it shine. Okay, so on this one, I want to show you something different, and that's with the quinacridone magenta and Payne's Gray. It will give you a very similar color to quinacridone violet, which is also in the media line. Okay, so a little bit of quinacridone magenta and Payne's Gray. Now, again, it's going to give you more of that violet tone, so a little bit more of a purpley look, which I didn't do. I used the raw umber, but I do want to show you that if you wanted to go a little bit more on that kind of darker pink, you certainly could do that with that Payne's Gray and get that quinacridone violet look. Okay, I like both. Just completely up to you and what you want as far as colors. Okay. So we have a little bit of a dark spot right there, and that's going to show up more when we add our highlight. And then we've got a little sliver there, a little bit there. Alrighty. So, and I'm going to go back to the raw umber on this one. I just wanted to show you the difference. All right. So, quinacridone magenta. We're going to start kind of loose. And my models, if you will, for this piece, I think I told you on the live where we did the background, were some tulips that my mom took pictures of when she went to, to Amsterdam. So let's get a baby wipe out and clean that up. Thankfully, the head of the brush did not go into any paint. So we're just going to soften that. I already let it dry. Anyway, so I have a ton of pictures from her garden because she's got the greenest thumb ever. And when she lived in Germany and would travel a lot overseas, I just have beautiful photos of flowers from her. So let's get a little bit of water in my brush. This one has a nice little dark right there. And a little bit right there. And then again, soften that look. We don't want anything that's real harsh. And we'll take that up. That line. Okay. Let's make sure everything is dry. Oh, Faye, I do it all the time. That or stick my elbow or my shirt right into my palette and then right onto my piece. All right, let's make sure everything is completely dry. Okay. So now what we're going to do is along the top edges, we're going to come back with a little bit of white, and I'm just going to use white, and I'll tell you why, because I want to do some washes of color over it. So on the 3/8 angle brush, I'm going to get a little bit of white on the toe of that brush. Again, this is titanium white, and just work that in. And then we're going to take that kind of on that highlighted side. Again, soften with your finger or soften it with the mop. Okay. And so I'm just kind of working in stages, you know, so that you can let some things dry, come back and do your little highlight. Like those leaves, when we put that green over it, you'll see what happens to these petals when we come back in and put that color in. I really should switch to a 1/4 inch angle, but I'm not going to. All right, so we've got that one. I'm going to come along the top here. And again, I don't like there to be a stop, so kind of let that either feather or swipe it along with your finger to kind of soften that look. And then this one has a little bit right there. Again, a little bit more white. And go there. All right. Down to the bottom one. Again, we'll come in and do bit of white on this one. I just want to make it stand out a little bit right on that flip right there. A little bit down that side, but not much. And then this side. Now in the back, I want those petals to be a little bit brighter, and if we get into them now with that angle brush, we're going to take away some things. So I'm actually going to use the, with the flat brush. I'm going to use the angle brush with some white, and I am going to come in and pick up a little bit of the Hansa yellow light. I just feel like those got a little neglected, but I don't want to take away that dark. You have to have that dark to see that light between the front and the back petals. Okay, so not too much. But this will also help get rid of some of that transfer line, which if I see it, it doesn't bother me. If it does bother you, you'll want to erase that quite a bit before you start painting, because these are transparent, meaning you can see the background through, the stamps through, everything. Subtly, but still you can see it. Okay, so a little Hansa yellow light, a little bit of white. I'm gonna come right on. We still probably put a little bit back there. Darken that shading, especially when we do the front. Okay, sorry, I'm holding my breath and I'm not talking. Make sure I get that on there. Okay. Aw, thank you. Thank you, Linda. Your whole self want to pay. Oh, goodness. Okay, now I'm going to come back to my number 8 flat. Okay, I'm going to come back to my number 8 flat and pick up some white. So I'm going to dry off my brush really well. This is what's going to start building up some of this color, okay? But again, I want you to see. You can see the background. You can see my transfer lines. I'm not fussed or worried about that. And then I'm going to come over here and pick up some of the white, and it might even have a touch of yellow in it, and that's okay. I'm going to load that up. Take a dry paper towel. Let's just kind of swipe that to get some of that excess off. And then I'm going to come right into the top of that petal and I'm going to pull down. Pull and let it stutter. You can swipe it with your finger. Remember I said I came back with a little bit of variegation if I needed it on some of the petals. So like this one's very yellow. I personally like it. It's different than my original, but I do think I want it to be a little bit more pink, so I'll come back and put a little bit of pink on it. Okay, so that kind of dry brushing that white, load it up, wipe quite a bit of it off. Swipe it with your finger. And one thing I'm notorious for doing, both while I'm designing and as I'm painting and as I'm teaching, is I will show you like putting in those lights and darks and then having to go back and intensify or darken something because I got my light into it. For me, it's all about placement and keeping that placement. And so if putting in the shading helps me see where the shape of those petals goes, then I do it. And if I have to go back and add some dark in, I'll be, that's fine. If I have to add some more light in because I came back with my shading, quite all right. Okay. And I guess my point is don't beat yourself up if you're like, oh, I just ruined all my dark, pretty shading. Because look how much lighter that one is now compared to these. But you still see some great shading, right? But I do want to intensify it and darken it and bring some of that pink back into that flower. And I'll show you how I did that. Okay, I don't want too much light back here, but I also don't want it to look like it doesn't belong to that flower. So a little bit of white, wipe it off. And then we'll go up to this one. I'm just going to kind of start in the back and pull a little bit from that top. See, this one's a little more yellow too. I really like that quinacridone magenta that I have in there on my original one. So I will bring some of that back in, little white, wipe it off. And again, you want to pull with the flow and shape of that petal. You wouldn't want to just go there and go straight down or straight down. You want to swipe it and go with the flow of that petal. Okay. Kind of swipe it on. So even though, you know, that titanium white is opaque because I have just a little bit on my brush and I'm dry brushing it more than anything, you're going to be able to see the layers underneath, especially that media paint that's so intense and pretty. I want to bring that up just a little. Okay, so right there, I'll give you an idea of the look, the difference between one that has that white on it, like that one, and one that doesn't, okay, and how it just softens and brings it all together. Have a wonderful dinner, Faye. Thanks for being here. What's blurring, Karen? Is something blurring on your end? I haven't seen any blurry on my end. So yes, Debbie, it is dry brushing, but I do have more paint on it than how I would normally dry brush, okay? So let me show you. I'm gonna load it up. And then I'm just going to swipe it across my paper towel like 4 or 5 times, okay? But I still have quite a bit of paint on there. So I would say it's wetter dry brush than what I normally do, like with my Mezzaluna. I tend to get most of that paint off. With the exception of, you know, just a little bit that can stutter and skip on there. Okay, guys, just making sure. Karen, maybe go back out and come back in, because, again, mine's crystal clear. I have it up on 3 devices right now. So it just might be your Wi-Fi on your end, but I'm sorry about that. I wish I could change it for you. But maybe coming out and coming back in and refreshing, it will change for you. Or go to YouTube, to my YouTube channel. Okay, so a little bit from the back. Again, I don't want too much. Just enough to soften that color. Technology's great when it works, right, guys? Be our best friend and sometimes our greatest aggravation. Okay, now we're getting there, and hopefully you're seeing the difference. Again, I am going to put some more purple. Hello. I'm going to put some pink back on these, and a little bit darker shading. Okay. So let's dry everything. Thanks, Karen. Exactly, right, Suzanne? When it doesn't, it's such a pain. If you don't have the quinacridone magenta, you need it. Let me just say that. But if you don't have the quinacridone magenta, you can use Berry Cobbler with a little touch of alizarin crimson. It's got such a rich, deep pink to it that alizarin crimson will add some of that burgundy kind of color to the Berry Cobbler. You could even go and use Joyful Pink if you wanted to. I'm going to switch. I think I'm going to switch to a 1/2 inch angle. Let's find one that's not so bad because I don't have one. They're all over at my other station. A 1/2 inch. Okay, so you can see I've used this one a lot. A little bit of moisture in your brush. Pick up some of that quinacridone magenta. And I'm just going to come in, again, wash some of that color right at the base of those petals. Get that mop handy just to kind of soften it. You can make these a little bit more orange if you want more orange in them. If you want more yellow in them, you can kind of just adjust the color. Okay, again, because it's not put this color here, put this color here. They're going to look different every time you paint them like this, where you're just kind of laying that color on, but not being so precise or exact. Okay, and then we have a little bit in here. And then right down here. Now this side, I do want to pick up just the tiniest touch of raw umber because I want that right there to be a little bit richer and deeper. As well as right here. And that floated color, hello Sandy, get your hand out of the way, is right on that petal there. And see, like I mentioned, if you get into the color and you've got to correct it, just come back and pull some of that color down. Alrighty, so back to that 1/2 inch angle. Again, a little bit of, I'm going to skip over here for a second, of that raw umber mixed in with it, just to make it nice and rich and dark. And I tend to do my lights and my darks 2-3 times. I'm going to go on this side. I don't want any straight lines, no straight lines at all. So a little bit of water, kind of get that to float out just a touch. Quinacridone magenta, a little bit of raw umber on the toe of the brush only. I want to float a little bit of that dark on this side. And I think in my original too, I must have used more orange. My tulips are a little bit more orangey, but look, guys, it's that simple. If you want them more orange, you just pop in a little bit of orange. Okay. Yes, Lori, yes, I love that. And I hope you'll use them more. They really do just amp up your art. The colors are so vivid and vibrant and highly pigmented. And I know that the price of them, guys, can be a little sticker shock, but as you see, a little goes a long way. So you really do not need a whole bunch of paint to get that really nice color. And again, the cool thing is you can mix them with your Americanas or let it enhance your Americana pieces. So this one is very white at the top. So this is where I am going to come in maybe and add a little bit more orange. Maybe a tiny bit of yellow. And isn't it nice that you can just kind of pick that up and put it on here and there where you want it? And then we'll come right in here with that deeper shading. I'm going to do a little bit down here, and then walk that color up just a little bit. And if you get into your lights, just come back in and brighten them up. Put a little bit on that side. It's one thing in my packets too, I have so many step-by-step pictures of this that it does show you the coloring as I'm going along, because I'm taking them real time as I'm painting it. So you can see, oh, I like it, you know, just with that much orange, and that's a good place you could stop. You wouldn't have to keep going on with the directions, you know, to make that color different, or like, you know, my original. Alrighty, now you see where I got into that front petal. Oh, I love it, Kathy. She said my husband is gonna be so thrilled when I tell him I need to buy more paint. Well, I'm a firm believer, use what you have. But when you do have a little bit of extra that you could go and try something, guys, try the media line. Okay, they're just beautiful. I can't say enough things about them. All right, let's see. Now look, that petal just is nothing. It's just a blob of nothing. So we're gonna get a little bit of color back in there because I obviously lost it. A little bit of orange, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white. There we go. Okay, let's push that back up. Now, as usual, I'm a little heavy-handed. So to lighten these up a little, like I said, if you wanted a little bit more of the yellow tone to them, or orange, where we did put a little bit of that white, you could come up, see, and put some yellow. I don't want yellow. I want them to be a little on that pinker side with a hint of yellow. So that's where I would come in and take some of that away. Get a little bit of white. Just to kind of bring that back. All right, now let's go on to a small flat brush. So like a number 4 or a number 2. All right. I want to get the, this is a number 4 flat, wet, and then I'm going to come over and pick up some Payne's Gray. And I want to work that in nice and inky. So either some fast drying glaze medium. For this, I typically use water. And then on a piece of paper, I have that there, I'll use that. I tend to just test it, okay, to make sure it's not too dark, because it would not be a piece if we didn't add some cast shadows, right? So I'm gonna add some cast shadows, again, with that very inky Payne's Gray paint. And I'm going to put it right beside that stem, underneath that stem, under that petal right there. Again, you don't want to see any end lines. I'll do a little bit on the side of this petal here. And because it's so transparent, it doesn't matter if you get a little bit on that, like that leaf or the stem. On the petal, you're going to be able to see it. But, and I try not to go over it more than twice, or it will lift. Okay, so a little on that side of the stem. We'll come underneath the flower, but I want to let it dry first. We're going to come up on this. And what I love to do, let's get a little bit more. Thank you, Molly Ann, for answering that. That's a good question, Lori. And yes, you can mix the fluid acrylics. I often will mix my Payne's Gray with Plantation Pine to make, you know, my dark green. So by all means, you certainly can mix them together. Okay, so I'm going to pull that up. And then here, what I love to do is I'll come away from that leaf and just add that tip. So again, it just lifts it up off the surface. I know I still have to do that one, but let's come over here and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to slide on the chisel edge. I think I need more paint. Slide on the chisel edge, and then I'm going to push out, come right to that leaf. But where there's space, again, that's what lifts that piece, that leaf right up, or that element right up off your surface. Okay, I'm going to dry it because I want to make that a little darker. So Karen, which fluid mediums are you talking about? I'm using the fluid acrylic paints for some. The only medium I'm using is the fast drying clear glazing medium. For this part though, I'm not. And again, I don't know where that glitter came from. Got glitter everywhere. So I'm going to make sure when you use your heat tool that it's not hot, because it will just take and hold your paint right where you put it. So I'm going to come right back down, get a little bit darker shading there. And that's a little too dark, so we're going to swipe it. Probably should have left well enough alone, right? There we go. Okay, and then this stem, little Payne's gray, and we'll come right up underneath here and then by that stem. Okay, so underneath here I'm going to go underneath the petals, right over the stem and everything, and then just on this side of the flower, back down that stem if I need to. Okay, now let's go to our butterflies, and I'm going to show you. Let's dry this first. Oh, Virginia, how awesome that you got those as a gift. They really are amazing. Okay. Okay. What did I see there? Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, I love layering paint. It it might look like a hot mess for a long time, and then when you start to layer and build those colors, it really just comes together. Okay, so wherever you're going to put your butterflies, on this one, I have them, where's my little butterfly? I have them here and there, and they're on with like a pop dot. So I lifted that one up. It's got like a little foam pop dot, or you can lay them flat, but I did like that foam pop dot. I could kind of mold them a little bit, okay? So again, to see those, you can go back and watch the live that I did on the 5th of this month. But when you lay these out, before you kind of fold them up or whatever, is you want to get your placement, okay? And you can, so I'll put that one there. You have a couple of choices. You can use a liner brush with Payne's gray or black paint, or you can use the fine tip. Okay, great, Karen. I'm glad I answered that for you with the medium. Okay, so with the antennas on the butterfly, I'm going to just touch and pull, touch and pull. I find it's easier to do with a pen than a liner brush. But again, before you put them on with your tape or foam or whatever else, or matte medium for that matter, you do want to draw those antennas on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring it a little bit further down, and then remember that you brought it further down so that it goes underneath the head of the butterfly. Okay? And then using that number 4 flat brush, again with a little bit of Payne's gray inky, I'm going to turn it up on the corner of the brush You know what? Let's not do that. I'm going to use a rigger instead. So I have a 0 rigger. Again, that inky Payne's gray. I just want it to be nice and thin. And we're going to do a little shadow for that antenna. Don't even know if you can see that. I'm going to intensify that just a little bit so that you can see it. And then up here, we'll have it there and then kind of hanging down. Okay. And then with your foam dots, again, come onto those antennas that you drew on, making sure that the head covers up, and you'll just attach them. Okay. So I'm loving the variation in color. Again, layering, you're going to get some variation in color. My thing at the very end of all my paintings is looking at my lights and my darks and adjusting as necessary. Sometimes you don't need to darken something, you just need to lighten something. Sometimes you don't need to lighten something, you just need to darken something. It's kind of, you know, that dance and that play game of color. So one area I do see that I want to change just a little, just a touch darker, is right here. I'm going to move those butterflies out of the way. Is right here, because I want to push that petal out just a little bit. There we go. And so see how that bowed that petal out just a little? But what I have to do now is over on this side is bring in some of that white onto that front petal, because it is on top and the other is on the bottom. This little highlight right here on these petals is really going to make that pop. All right. So, thank you, Chris. Yes, it was 2 weeks ago, and Chris Savola just put the link in my in the comment section so that you guys can see that. So, again, when you come back in with your butterflies, you can attach them either with the foam dots or without. I didn't add any splatter, but one thing I did do on my finished piece, you can see, is frame it in. So let me show you how I did that. And if you bought the e-packet, I don't think this is in there, which is not shocking. But let me show you how to do that. We're going to take a baby wipe. It's real technical. You're going to take a baby wipe and wrap it around your index finger. And then I'm going to stick this in the palm of my hand. You can use a angle brush, but why? So I'm going to take that, load it up with some of that raw umber, and I'm just going to run it back and forth like I would an angle brush, okay, and kind of work that into the baby wipe. I use Huggies, fragrance-free and lotion-free, okay? And this is key. Your wrist needs to be inside your surface. So I just want to float that color, and it just kind of gives it a little vignette look, a little shading. It draws your eye into the design, in toward that center. And I don't want to go over it too many times or it starts to lift and it will leave like a hole. But just kind of round those corners. I love this surface. And this surface I got, guys, let me see if I have it listed. I think I have it in the description. Yeah, I do have it in the description. It is from Cupboard Distributing. Oh, there it is, right there. So this is the surface that I'm using from Cupboard Distributing. I don't know if I told you guys that in the beginning, because I did this 2 weeks ago with the background. So, okay, but look how that just draws your eye into that design. Love, love, love how that finishes it off and gives it a little vignette framed out look. Okay, a little more pink, a little more orangey, not far off, but some, I would say, a little more pink, a little more yellow. than that orange. So kind of adjust and do whichever colors, you know, meet your decor and what you like. Now, when I'm at home, I will typically take this paint and stick it back in the bottle, which is not good. But I'm going to move that because I'm going to put my hand right in it. Okay, and then let me come up. I find this finger floating much easier than using the brush, right? It just, let's see how crazy my hair is. I love how it just adds a softness and again frames it in. And because that baby wipe has a little bit of moisture to it, it's just going to float that color on. So love, love, love doing that. All right, guys, let me just look real quick and see. Got it. See if you have any questions. Yes, I think the butterflies add to that dimension as well. Just watch my butterfly probably fall off. And because blue and orange, you know, are opposite on the color wheel, it's going to complement that color. But it would look pretty, I think, with kind of a purpley butterfly. It would even look good with monarchs. Again, kind of keeping it in that product, you know, that family, that color family of oranges and reds and yellows and things like that. So, but the blue to me pops. So, the one you just threw away. Yes, it probably would, Sue, like I did before and showed y'all how to do the, take your empty palette, fold it in half, unfold it, mist a piece of paper or a surface, lay it down, mush it around, let it dry, and then create on it. I know it sounds like a hot mess, but I did it with my membership group, and it's one of my favorite lessons that we've done. So you have taught me how to use my fingers. Okay, Lynn, I'm going to pat myself on the back. I love that. I know some that don't want to get a drop of paint on their fingers, and that's okay. But to me, again, other than feeling like I was productive or that I had a good day in my studio, it also is a mindset that I don't have to be so strict and rigid and forced, and that I can be a little bit looser in my style with my fingers and my, you know, mopping. And does that make sense? Again, when you kind of approach it that way, instead of, I got paint, you know, and then, oh, I got paint in the wrong place and it went outside the line, and then, you know, so to me, it's not about being messy. It's about allowing yourself to just have fun and paint and create, because that's what it's about, right? I was at a point many years ago where I kind of lost that joy of creating and painting, and it was hard. So once I kind of loosened up on that forced, it has to be this way, I have to load my brush this way, it just kind of all fell into place. And hopefully, if nothing else, I share and impart that, you know, onto you guys joining me. So thank you again so very much. I'm looking to see if I have anything up here to share with you. I do real quick. If you have not seen, OKC Painting Palooza has moved from October to August. And that is their website at the very bottom there. The theme this year is a spooky season, and I have 2 projects that I'm teaching. The Happy Fall Scarecrow, that class comes with a lot of goodies. And then my Ukrainian folk art piece as well. So if you've wanted to go to a convention, I hope you'll give that one a try, and come paint with me and all the other amazing artists that are there teaching. So Linda said, started using my fingers all the time since I started watching you. Okay, so y'all that have said that you've used your fingers, have you found that it's made it a lot easier? Have you found that it's loosened up with your mindset of, it has to be this way and I have to do it this way? Because that's really what it's all about too. Oh, Jessica, well, you won one of the giveaways. Your name popped up on the wheel, and I have your information, so I'll get that shipped out to you. Okay. So anyway, but let me know in the comments quickly, guys, if you use your fingers and you love, I mean, I love my brushes, don't get me wrong, but softening it with your fingers and moving that paint around and not being so structured and forced. And structure's good. There's a time and a place for it, but especially in mixed media, just to kind of play and have fun. And anyway, okay, guys, I can smell my dinner. So have a wonderful week. Get those brushes out, get that paint out, do something creative. I will be back next Sunday. Again, not exactly sure what we're going to be doing, but it'll be fun. And I appreciate y'all being here. Talk to y'all later. Bye.